Shabbat Shem Yahushua. All praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh. In the name of His Son, Yahushua. Fisherman of Zion, back with another video through the spirit of Prophet Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Don't count this as a light thing to do. All praises to the Most High, Yahweh, who the world knows is God, in the Paleo Hebrew. In the name of His Son, Yahushua, who the world eagerly called Jesus the Christ. Fisherman of Zion, back with another video. Lord willing, this will be edifying to you. Don't count this as a light thing to do. Peace and blessings to you. All praises to the Most High through the spirit of Prophet Yahweh Shem Yahushua. We outside through the spirit of Prophet Yahweh Shem Yahushua to absorb some sunlight and to you know, be thoughtful of the Most High's creation. You know, ever since I stopped playing football, I normally don't like to be outside unless I'm teaching the word or unless it's a feast day or something like that. So all praise to the Most High through the spirit of Prophet Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Just making sure my connection is straight through the spirit of Prophet Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Making sure the connection is straight. Peace and blessings to you, Lord willing, you enduring. Shabbat Shalom to the saints that's keeping the Sabbath. Friday sundown, Saturday sundown. Peace and blessings to you. We're going to open up with Psalms 122 through the spirit of Prophet Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Psalms chapter 122. Peace and blessings to all saints, so-called blessed Spanish and Native Americans. I believe the title is Fisherman's Sabbath Spiritual Bait. It's gambling and sin, parlay demons, scratch-offs, powerball, casting lots. So before we touch on the lesson, we're going to open up with Psalms 122 through the spirit of Prophet Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This book of Psalms, chapter 122, and it reads, I was glad when they said unto me, let us go into the house of the Lord, Yahweh. So we glad to still be in the truth, still be in the Lord's truth. This ain't nobody else's truth but the Most High, the creator of the heavens and earth. You know, raw, uncut, you know, no wickedness, no wicked doctrines. This is the Most High's truth. So we glad to be alive and to have the mindset, to have our vision, to have our right mind, to have blood running warm through our veins, and to be able to breathe and to speak on the things that the Most High word speaks of, and to be able to tell it how it is. Speak thou, thus said the Lord. The oracles of the Most High God, like Peter says. So through the spirit of Prophet Yahweh Shem Yahushua, peace and blessings to you. We're gonna open up with now first off, I want to get into this definition. You can look this definition up on Google, you know. So a lot of people may not understand if gambling is associated with sin. They because they don't see gambling in the Bible, in the word. They don't see G-A-M-B-L-E, you know, so they may think that, you know, it's nothing wrong with it. They may think it's not a sin. They may think it's okay to do, you know. So first off, we're gonna open up with this, and you can look this up on your own. This is on Google. I had it, you know, you can look this up on your own. No, it says gamble. It says gambling is a wagering of something of value on a random event with the intent of winning something else of value, where instances of strategy are discounted. Gambling thus requires three elements to be present. So this is what they're saying. Gambling requires three elements to be present. And it says consideration, risk, and a prize. So gambling consists of taking a risk, you know. Now, our forefathers, of course, it's not the same thing, but in a sense, you know, Lord willing, we're going to talk about it. As far as the Urim and the Thummim, as far as casting lots, that's not the same as taking a risk of your hard-earned money, and or because I remember hearing my mother say that my father, he was a gambler, and you know, he didn't have money to be able to buy certain things. So my mom, she had to make sacrifices because my father, he was addicted to gambling, and you know, certain risks that people may take or people consider taking, you know, it has a significant weight on your family or even yourself, you know. And I'm gonna read this also. This is gamble. It says play games of chance for money, bet, take risky action in the hope of a desired result. So a lot of people hope in winning something, when ultimately we know as Israelites, as believers of the Heavenly Father, the King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the Alpha and Omega, we supposed to have our hope in the Lord. You know, we're not supposed to have our hope into money. You know, so you may not see in the law where it says thou no gamble. You have to have your mind outside of that. You have to have common sense. You have to have a mind of not being simple and not being carnal, because the spiritual demon Satan, it will have you hear what you want to hear and assume that, okay, I heard what I needed to hear. That's my confirmation. So I'm going to go do what I need to do. I heard that it wasn't a sin because I didn't see it in the law. I didn't see it in the first 5 books of Moses. I didn't see anything else in the Bible. So now I have my confirmation. So that's not the case. Now we supposed to have hope in the Lord, like I just read. Now let me get this in Hebrews. This is Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1. Shalom to the saints. Shabbat shalom. This is Hebrews chapter 11 and verse 1, and it reads, now faith is the substance of things hoped for. So having faith is things that you hoped for. So have we seen the Messiah in the flesh? You know, have we seen, you know, him pick up things and sit down and stand up and walk here, walk there? And do we actually see him open up his mouth and speak in the body that we're present in now? You know, so we haven't seen him, you know, so therefore we hope for his return. You know, we hope for him to bring us redemption. So reading this again, Hebrews 11 and 1. Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So things that you haven't seen. So people hope for whatever they may do. You got people that are so addicted to gambling and putting their hope into these parlays and these things like this, that hoping that it may bring them some type of assurance or some type of return value. When in a case when they don't win, guess what? They get even more mad, and they keep playing, and they keep having hope in something that is not there. So like I'm trying to fix this camera right quick. I'm having a difficult time. So they keep trying to win something that they may have never won, and they keep putting their hope into it, when it may not come to them. Some people, you may have heard some people won millions of dollars. You may have heard some people had a significant amount of money. But if you ever win, which, you know, I don't get into gambling because I don't want to be overthrown by money, you know. So a lot of times you have to you know, count the cost. You know, some people may have won. You know, you may have a family member that may have won a significant amount of money, and that may have gave you hope. But to me, you know, it's not profitable for me, and it's not something that I want to give my strength and give my mind and my spirit over to. Now, you may have had people that may have won. You heard stories, and a lot of these stories that you may hear, you know, these people, you may have heard stories where they may have won a lot of money, and within a year or two, you know, they may not even have that money anymore, or they may be broke, you know, or they have these different high-end valued properties and things like this. But, you know, a lot of things it's all a setup to bring you down and for your destruction. So Jeremiah chapter 17, and I'm gonna start at verse 7. This is Jeremiah chapter 17, and I'm gonna start at verse 7, and it reads. So we just read Hebrews 11 and 1. So this is Jeremiah 17 and 7, and it reads, blessed is the man that trusted in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. So Jeremiah the prophet said, blessed is the man who trusted in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is. A lot of people, they hope, and I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but you know, the elect, they, you know, their hope, according to the scriptures and the things we read, their hope is in the Lord. You know, King David, his hope was in the Lord. He said he won't trust in his sword or his shield in Psalms. You know, you got Elisha, you know, his hope was in the Lord. You know, after he was on the move trying to flee, and get away from not persecution, but death, when Jezebel was trying to kill a lot of the prophets. You know, he was making moves, you know. So he told the Lord, you know, I'm ready to die. You know, you got a lot of our forefathers, their hope was in the Lord. And it wasn't in gold or silver or some type of weight that they had to get balanced, because their currency is different, of course, from our currency. And it was always having to be weighed back in the day and, you know, used to buy either land or even food or garments and things like that, ointment. So, you know, the society isn't too much different. You know, you can say, well, they didn't have Mercedes-Benz, Rolex gold, or things like that, but they had, you know, certain things was even more on a pure scale than it is now, especially gold. You know, this gold we have now, it's not even real, you know, compared to what we had in the days of old, in the days of ancient. So our forefathers, you know, the righteous and those that were striving for righteousness, their hope was in the Lord, you know. So you gotta ask yourself, as you're looking at this video, have you been somewhat caught up into giving your hope into the system, giving your hope into trying to win things and trying to give a return for your hard-earned money for something that America is constantly losing value on? You know, the dollar isn't the same how it was 40 years ago, 30 years ago. You know, the value of a dollar. So the value of money always decreases. And a lot of people, a lot of nations, they're not even interested in America's currency anymore. They're doing their own things, you know. So as we live in these last days, many things will unfold and many things will change. So we have to make sure that our minds and our spirits are in the right direction for the return of our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, the Messiah. So I want to get this in the Apocrypha. This is the Apocrypha, Ecclesiasticus, Sirach, if you can understand. And we always encourage y'all to get an Apocrypha. So this is Sirach, chapter 13, and I'm going to start at verse 24, which is Ecclesiasticus 13 to 24, and it reads, riches are good unto him that had no sin. So if you don't sin, you know, and if you don't put your faith into money, you know, it's nothing wrong with it, as the Lord just said. You know, there's no downfall that can come into you if you don't give your all unto riches, you know. So it says, Sirach 13 to 24, riches are good unto him that had no sin, and poverty is evil in the mouth of the ungodly. So even not having money towards those that are at a low level is also not a good thing if they don't turn into the Lord. So even a poor man that's wicked, and that's a devil, that's a demon, you know, that doesn't even want to believe in the Lord. The Lord said, you know, poverty is evil to him, you know. So it's not just only money, you know. Bad wickedness is also on the lines of those who are impoverished, who don't have the hope of the Lord. All right, now let me get this in Wisdom of Solomon, still in the Apocrypha. I want to get this in Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, and I'm going to start at verse 5. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 8, and verse 5 in the Apocrypha, and it reads, if riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? So if you desire to have many riches in this life, you know, the wisdom of our forefather, King Solomon, he said, what's more richer than wisdom, you know? So if you ask the Lord for anything, you should be asking him for wisdom, you know, which go way beyond money, goes way beyond, you know, material things in this life. Because if you got wisdom, you have a lot of things that isn't going to lose value. You know, money can lose value. You buy a car and you drive that car off the lot, that's going to lose its value. You know, when you get gold, wherever you want to buy your gold from on the face of the earth, it's going to lose value, or it's either going to increase value depending on the purity of it, you know, and where it ultimately has its source from. So a lot of things in this life isn't as desired or should be desired as wisdom is, like our forefathers said. Read it one more time. Wisdom of Solomon 8:5, and it reads, if riches be a possession to be desired in this life, what is richer than wisdom that worketh all things? So riches is something that you should want to constantly pray for, as far as the riches that come from the Father. And I'm gonna read down, because this is a beautiful verse that I meditate on a lot. This is going down verse 6, and then we're gonna go down to verse 7. Wisdom of Solomon 8:6. And if prudence work, who of all that are is a more cunning workman than she? And if a man love righteousness, her labors are virtues, for she teacheth temperance. So this is what wisdom gives you. You know, now you can use money to buy many things in this life, even things that you don't have any business obtaining. But one thing that wisdom can give you is temperance. You know, and it helps you, teaches you how to, you know, uphold yourself, you know, to be able to maneuver and to be able to do things amongst your household or amongst others outside of your household, your brotherhood, your sisterhood, and your fellow workers, co-workers, or wherever you know, go, or whatever you do in life, you know. And prudence, justice, and fortitude, which are such things as men can have nothing more profitable in their life. Now, I want to touch on, I already touched on fortitude. Now, fortitude, which is a mental or emotional strength in facing something difficult. Prudence is discernment, judgment, planning ahead, thinking before speak. Justice is just behavior or treatment, being a judge, basically, judging such matters. And temperance is self-control, moderation in action and thought. So Wisdom of Solomon 8:7, what is more value, and what is more highly sought after? And our forefather just told us, and he said it's wisdom, which comes with temperance, prudence, justice, and fortitude. So that's a beautiful thing to have, and something to ask the Most High for. Now I want to get St. John real quick. We're gonna come back to the Apocrypha. Got many precepts that I want to touch on in the Apocrypha, but let's go to St. John 13. This is St. John chapter 13. You know, it's good to get some sunlight every now and again, you know, especially with having little kids. You know, sometimes it's very difficult to do these videos, especially when they screaming and you know, just being children in the background. That's why sometimes I have to play music, because, you know, the kids are being kids and just running around the house, especially the little ones. Now this is St. John 13, and I'm gonna start at verse 27. St. John 13:27, and it reads, now this is going into Judas. Now one thing that Judas had fell short of, which ultimately was a prophecy and things that was prophesied to be done. So somebody had to play out that prophecy, and Judas was in position to fulfill that, as mentioned in Psalms 41:9. You know, as King David had his brother that rose up against him and ultimately prophesied to happen to the Messiah, Judas portraying him. Now Judas fell short of coveting, and, you know, even though he was the treasurer and he had part of the bag, he had part of the money, so he betrayed the Lord, you know. And he was always thinking about money, and he wanted to betray the Lord for money. Whatever reason, you could say, well, he knew the Lord could get away. He knew the Lord had power to do this and to do all things. But this is something we can learn from, because the Lord said the word was made for our learning. Now let me get that real quick, even though I quoted it. So many things that we may touch on, or many things that we may read in days to come, you know, a lot of these things was written and put in the word for our learning. Now this is Romans chapter 15. This is Romans chapter 15 and verse 4, and it reads, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. So everything that we about to go into, everything you may read in the word, You know, it's for your learning, it's for my learning, and whomever learning that follows the Lord or that want to clean their life up and better themselves and how they serve and worship and magnify the Heavenly Father. And it says hope, might have hope. So your hope shouldn't be into having so much money that you can just take care of your whole family. The Lord may not want you to take care of your whole family. The Lord is not going to liken everybody to be on King Solomon's level, King David's level. You know, he's not going to liken everybody to be on Job's level. So that's not profitable for everybody, or just, you know, all the Israelites to think about. Because where is our hope going to come from? You know, when this society collapses, when the economy is down, when missiles are all over the face of the earth in many different places on a high level. You know, even though we heard about missiles in Russia, you know, having already sent missiles to a certain part of the world, there's many different things that are going to take place. And when that takes place, according to prophecy and things that said to be done according to the prophets and the word of the Most High, what is the Israelites' hope going to be like? You know, when they're not able to drive their Tesla down the road, when they're not able to, you know, wear those high-value shoes, you know, or those high-value threads, jackets, coats, belts, you know, or even high-value perfume or cologne or whatever, you know, someone is desirous of. Now, St. John 13:27 again, or it's like not again, but we're going to touch on this. St. John 13:27. Now, this is talking about Judas. Shalom, shalom. St. John 13:27. Now, I'm going to start at verse 25. I'm going to start at verse 23. Now, there was leaning on Yahweh's bosom one of his disciples, whom Yahweh loved. Simon Peter therefore beckoned to him that he should ask who it should be of whom he spake, speaking on who's going to betray the Lord. Verse 25, St. John 13:25. He then, lying on Yahweh's breast, said unto him, Lord, who is it? Yahweh answered, he it is to whom I shall give a sop. And a sop is a bit, a morsel, meaning a small piece. So he gave him a small piece because they was sitting down at eating. So he gave him a small piece. So St. John 13:26, Yahweh shall answer, he it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon. Verse 27, and after the sop, Satan entered into him. Then said Yahweh unto him, that thou doest, do quickly. So Satan entered into Judas at that beginning moment. And this is the time where, when you read verse 1, that Yahweh knew his time was coming to be departed from the world. Let me read that real quick. This is St. John 13:1. Now before the feast of the Passover, when Yahweh knew that his hour was come, that he should depart out of this world unto the Father, having loved his own which were in the world, he loved them unto the end. And supper being ended, the devil having now put into the heart of Judas Iscariot, Simon's son, to betray him. So this was a leading up to the spirit being put on Judas to betray the Lord for 30 pieces of silver. Now, a lot of people, they may betray their faith for millions of dollars, thousands of dollars, wanting to win it big, wanting to have all of their money problems being gone. But if you understand how the Lord gets down in Acts the 14th chapter and the 22nd verse, it says that we, through much tribulation, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven. So not just being delivered up, not just being on bad terms with your family members, or not just being strung out with no food and water, but hey, that tribulation also may come through your money, through your finances, not able to buy what it is that you think you should have. So a lot of tribulation may come through money, you know, through suffering. And suffering isn't just a physical thing, you know. It's also, according to certain people, not able to answer their own problems, you know. But the Lord, he's going to answer those problems. Now, I want to get this in Matthew. This is Matthew 26. As we just stated, Judas just betrayed the Lord for money, you know. And you have to read these things to get your spirit right, because you may be going through hard times. It may be hard for you to pay your phone bill. It may be hard for you to get your car fixed. You know, your car might be broke down. You don't know how you're gonna get back and forth. You don't know how you're gonna make it to the feast days. You don't know how you're gonna make it to work. You don't know how you're gonna be able to go to the store and do these things. Trying to figure out if you should walk or if you should get a bicycle or if you should take the bus if you're in the city. You know, many things people ponder upon when their back is against the wall, but they never go to the Most High, and they never go to the Most High when their back is against the wall like they would if their back wasn't against the wall. So it's a two-way street, you know. When things is good, you gotta continue to trust on the Lord, and when things is bad or seemingly bad, because we know the Lord, if you are striving for righteousness and keeping his instructions, his commandments, his laws and statutes, as well as his judgments, and have faith in him, you know, you should always have hope that the Lord is going to see you through, you know. Like King David said, the Lord said, touch not my anointing, you know, and do my prophets no harm. And you may be a woman, you say, well, I'm not a prophet, you know, that's a man. But the Lord, he's still gonna protect you. He's not gonna allow you to have harm done to you. So that doesn't give you the red lining where you should say, well, okay, all right, I'm gonna draw the line. So now I need to make moves. I need to do what I need to do, because the Lord, he understands me. So we can't come up with our own thoughts and thinking that the Lord is gonna forgive us for taking away our hope towards him. Now, this is Matthew chapter 26, and I'm gonna start at verse 14, and it reads, then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests and said unto them, what will ye give me, and I will deliver him unto you? And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver. So now let's go over this one more time. The spiritual aspect of, because as the video says, spiritual fisherman Sabbath, spiritual bait. So everything is spiritual. You shouldn't walk on earth, or you shouldn't go a day in life, or you shouldn't think for 1 second nothing is spiritual. Everything is spiritual. So Matthew 26 and 14 again. Then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot. So first off, the Lord called this man. All right, and this man seen the Lord's work. This man seen the miracles of the Lord. You know, this man was walking with the Lord in the flesh. This man knew who he was. You know, Judas had more beside him than he had given to him by those priests. 30 it says 30 pieces of silver. So Judas had more than 30 pieces of silver. And you have more than 30 pieces of silver. You have more than $1 million. If you believe in the Lord and you know you're an Israelite, and as you are an Israelite, according to the Heavenly Father that created you, so-called Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, you have more than any money, any type of money can give you. You know, the Lord, he doesn't have money in the third heavens. The Lord doesn't have money in his pocket, you know. So he can give you everything you need. He can send you to that right job. He can allow this next job to whatever position that you never heard of, he can allow it to be formed and accumulated just for you to get that position. The Lord can give you something that somebody else worked hard for, or another nation might have worked hard for, and the Lord might have allowed that to be in their hands to give it to you. The Lord can have somebody make a mistake at the local bank or the regional bank, whatever you want to call it, and put a certain code in, and they make a mistake, and the number, and next thing you know, it goes to your account, pull your account up, and now the money is in your account, and you didn't even have to work for it. You gotta believe and know the Lord can do these things, and not believe that, oh, the Lord, he don't want me to be a millionaire. The Lord don't want me to. The Lord don't want me to pay this house off. The Lord don't want me to leave this job. Now that's the spiritual demon Satan getting in your mind. Now you trying to minimize what the Lord can do, all because it's you, you know, and you may have never had good things happen to you on a high scale or a high rate or a high level, and now you trying to minimize and subtract what the Lord can do. Now it says, Matthew 26:14, then one of the 12, called Judas Iscariot, went unto the chief priests and said unto them, so this is what Judas said, what will you give me, and I would deliver him unto you? And they covenanted with him for 30 pieces of silver. And from that time he sought opportunity to betray him. So many of us have betrayed the Lord. And this is why repentance is so important. You know, for wherever this spirit is, because everything the Lord created is still on the earth. You know, and he does what he chooses to do. So this spirit that Judas had, and Judas himself, is still on the earth. If you have ears to hear, if you can understand that on regeneration, and how the Lord said through the scriptures that this generation shall not pass, meaning the Lord is going to have everything come back on earth and play its part out, and every soul that the Lord has created, every spirit that the Lord has created, has a significant part and lot on things that they should do, and things that the Lord is going to allow them to do to fulfill everything that he wants being done. Now let me get this in Matthew chapter 6. So, you know, the Lord, he said, you know, riches isn't like we just read in the book of Sirach. Riches is good to those that don't sin. But this is Matthew chapter 6. This is a foundational understanding. This is Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19, and I'm gonna start at I believe verse 19. Okay, Matthew chapter 6 and verse 19, and it reads, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do it corrupt, and where thieves break through and steal. So hey, you may get that money and start doing things with it. Next thing you know, a thief can come and take it from you. You know, but a thief can't come and take away your good works, you know, faith, you know, giving and showing love and compassion towards others. A thief can't take that away. So the Lord said, lay not up for yourselves treasures upon earth, where moth and rust do it corrupt. So things can get rusted on this earth. You know, you could buy your brand spanking new truck, and then when the wintertime comes and snow and stuff is starting to be on a high scale, and they put salt on the roads, and now the truck is getting rusted because of that salt. And then thieves might break through and steal. Verse 20, Matthew 6 and 20, but lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust do it corrupt, and where thieves do not break through nor steal. For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. So I remember watching this show called this Wicked show, and a lot of things I like to watch to help me understand how, you know, things is done on the left-hand side and things is done on the right-hand side, you know, and to think spiritual things towards it. Because our people, they're so caught up in money, and they're so caught up in the drugs and women and clothes and some type of status. Now, I was watching this show, and this dude, he was a drug dealer. Now, he was on a lower level when he started, but when he got to the highest level he possibly can go, once he got to his peak, you know, first when he started, he was all about his family, and then once he got to the end, he basically turned on everybody, you know, even those that saved his lives, all for money, you know, and only thing that he was worried about was money, you know. That's all he was worried about, and he was going to do anything and everything to protect and keep his money, and eventually he got destroyed, you know. So hey, money can blind you, you know. Money can blind you from the truth. Money can blind you from, you know, good works and things that the Lord had put upon the earth for us to do. Now I want to get this in Acts. This is the book of Acts chapter 3. This is the book of Acts chapter 3, and I'm gonna start at verse 2. Acts chapter 3 and verse 2, and it reads, and a certain man, lame from his mother's womb, was carried, whom they laid daily at the gate of the temple, which is called Beautiful, to ask alms of them that was entered into the temple, who seeing Peter and John about to go into the temple, asked an alms. And Peter, fastening his eyes upon him with John, said, Look on us. And he gave heed unto them, expecting to receive something of them. Acts chapter 3 and verse 6. Then Peter said, Silver and gold have I none, but such as I have give I thee. In the name of Yahushua HaMashiach of Nazareth, rise up and walk. So Peter, he said, hey, I don't have any money, you know. Now you can say, hey, I ain't on Peter's level, you know. Hey, I gotta have this money. You can say what you want to say, you know. But hey, when you look back at Peter's life and his walk, you know, one thing that happened in Peter's life, he made mistakes, you know, and we all make mistakes. And he denied the Lord thrice, 3 times, you know. So you can say, well, I'm not Peter, you know, I'm not on the same level as him. But we all go through the same thing Peter went through, you know. You may have made mistakes where you felt like you wasn't worthy of being called or being given anything by the Lord. Hey, the same thing with Peter. Peter can say the same thing, you know. And you know, cutting a man's ear off, denying the Lord. No, I don't know him. No, I don't know him. No, I don't know him. But the Lord still have mercy. So hey, Peter said, silver and gold have I none. But what I have, the Lord gave Peter things that this world can't give you, you know, things that money can't buy, you know. And one thing about Peter, hey, he believed. Now, let me get this right quick. One thing about Peter believed, you know. Let me get this real quick. This is Luke chapter 9. Peter had faith. Luke chapter 9, and I'm going to start at verse 8. It's like in Luke 9:18, and it reads, And it came to pass, as he was alone praying, his disciples were with him, and he asked them, saying, Whom say the people that I am? They answering said, John the Baptist, but some say Elias, and others say that one of the old prophets is risen again. He said unto them, But whom say ye that I am? Peter answering said, The Christ of Most High God, meaning the anointed. See that? Peter said, I know who you are. I believe, you know. And if you know who the Lord is and you believe, you don't need to have millions of dollars. You don't need to win it big or make it big in this society. You got everything you need. And your faith and your hope in the Lord and trust in the Lord is going to give you everything it is that you need, plus more that you can't even think upon, that the Lord can't even show you, or you might lose it, you know. It's gonna put you places that nobody in this world can put you, you know. So let me get Sirach chapter 11. Let me get this in the Apocrypha. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 11, and I'm gonna start at verse 14. Ecclesiastes chapter 11 and verse 14, and it reads, Prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. So, hey, everything the Lord gives anybody on the earth, it comes from him. You know, the Lord gave his riches to Donald Trump. The Lord gave his riches to Elon Musk. The Lord gave his riches to LeBron James. The Lord brought poverty upon the Israelites, you know. You know, the Lord, he chose and didn't want me to be a millionaire, you know, as well as you. Everything it is that I have and you have, hey, that comes of the Lord. You know, and you got to ask yourself, if you didn't have what you have, and if you weren't where you were, would you be striving, or what would you be doing, or how would your mindset be, or how would your lifestyle be altered, or what would you be showing your kids? You know, and you see it. You know, we've all been around family members or friends that may have been selling some type of drugs, or may have made it somewhere in life, and they're nowhere near us anymore. You know, how is their lifestyle like? You know, and how is your lifestyle now? So the Lord said in Sirach chapter 11 and verse 14, prosperity and adversity, life and death, poverty and riches come of the Lord. See that? And the next verse is even more beautiful. And the whole chapter is even more beautiful as you read down, but we just stand on the time constraint. Now, these curses, you know, you can read about these curses in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter, you know, and the curses list of us being at a lower state due to our rebellion against the Heavenly Father, you know. But before these curses, even during the time of, you know, King David, Job, even during the time of King Solomon, you know, we had kings of our own lineage, of our own nationality, in a place where they can call the shots in the society. But we've been stricken and taken away from that now, because we wanted to serve idols. We wanted to bow down to false gods. So the Lord had to take things away from us. Now I want to get this in Sirach 32. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 32, and I'm gonna start at verse 17, and it reads. So many people can say, well, if I had $1 million, I'll let you know right now, I'm gonna help my people out. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. Well, you can say that, but when you in those shoes, many things can be altered, and many strongholds can be amongst you. You know, you see all these celebrities that got millions and millions of dollars, and they got financial freedom. And what are they doing? Where is 1 millionaire or 1 billionaire or 1 trillionaire on the earth right now? Are they telling the truth? Are they saying, thus said the Lord? Are they getting people out of prison that was being judged for wrong, that was judged wrongfully, and that had something attached to lies? You know, are they freeing them? Say, nah, they was doing wrong. You know, we got to make it right. You know, I got power, so I'm gonna make this right. I don't know 1 millionaire or trillionaire or billionaire on the face of the earth right now making moves according to thus said the Lord. You know. Now this is Sirach 32:17, and it reads, a sinful man would not be reproved, but finding an excuse according to his will. So a lot of people, they want to do things according to their will, you know. And sin, which goes back to breaking the law, and doing things as far as taking your hope and your faith away from the Lord, it goes in accordance to idolatry and coveting. You know, a lot of people, they like to play scratch-offs, they like to play Powerballs, and they like to do these gambling things and have these parlays set up because they're covetous, you know, because they're idolaters. So if you was to ask, say, well, is gambling a sin? It goes all back to coveting and idolatry. So coveting and idolatry, yes, that is a sin. Now, I want to get this in Leviticus. And this is not our rest. Hey, the Lord said this is not our rest. Because a lot of people, if they was to have millions of dollars, guess what they're gonna do? They're gonna quit. They're gonna quit that hard job, that hard laborer's job, and they may go fly across the country and they may start a new life and things like that. But you can't escape these curses. You can't run away from the Lord. You know, you think being a millionaire or being a billionaire, you know, you're gonna help all these people out, and the Lord doesn't want to help everybody out. As we just read in Sirach 11, you know, poverty, riches, life, and death, adversity, it comes from the Lord. So if the Lord wanted us to be in a better place, hey, he would allow us to be there right now. But obviously, hey, the Most High's timing is different from our timing, and the Most High's purpose is different from the purpose that we want to make and give ourselves. So this is Leviticus chapter 18, and I'm gonna start at verse 3, and it reads, Leviticus 18:3. It said, after the doings of the land of Egypt, wherein ye dwelt, shall ye not do, and after the doings of the land of Canaan, whither I bring you, shall ye not do, neither shall you walk in their ordinances. So a lot of the things that went on in Egypt, you know, they had sorcerers and they had magicians there, and they had things that they wanted to alter. Even when you go to the plagues being done, they wanted to mimic what the Lord did. And one of the things that this society likes to try to make themselves seem like they're God. They like to have cures for diseases. They like to have what's another thing? They like to have stuff that you made, like these devices. You know, a lot of people they give into these devices. You know, you can talk to somebody across the world. So it's the same thing that goes into the things that went into Egypt. You know, having different gods and things that they believe in. All of these are spirits and some of the same things that went on in Egypt. So the Lord said we not supposed to follow their ways. So our real riches comes from the third heavens, comes from the Most High. So the heathens, their riches is things that they might steal or things that they might form according to wickedness. So we're not even supposed to be on the same level. We're supposed to be wholly set apart. So you got all these other nations and all these other descendants of Edom, Ammon, Moab, Canaan, Ham, and Mizraim, and all these other nationalities outside of Israel. So you gonna tell me y'all doing the same thing? You got the European man. He sits at the horse racing, and he spends his money on the horse racing and betting on the horse racing. And then you got an Israelite that's gonna go there and do the same thing he's doing. That's not supposed to be this. That's not how it's supposed to be. We supposed to be trusting in the Lord, not the same thing they're trusting in. So reading down Leviticus 18:4. Ye shall do my judgments and keep my orders to walk therein. I am the Lord Yahweh, your most high God. Ye shall therefore keep my statutes and my judgments, which if a man do, he shall live in them. I am the Lord Yahweh. So we supposed to do what the Lord said and live in that, you know, not do what they doing and live in that, but it's supposed to be the things that the Lord commanded us to do. Now let me get this in Proverbs real quick. Proverbs. This is Proverbs chapter 3. Proverbs chapter 3, and we're going to start at verse 5. Proverbs chapter 3 and verse 5, and it reads, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding. So you're supposed to trust in the Lord with every aspect of your life. You know, when you have thoughts that come in your mind, maybe you should go back into the streets, you know, make something happen for yourself, because this job ain't helping you make ends meet. So when the spiritual demon Satan try to put these thoughts in your heads, you're supposed to say, nah, I gotta trust in the Lord. Verse 6, Proverbs 3 and 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him. So it says in all your ways. It didn't say in some of your ways. It said all your ways. That includes with your finances. So like that includes with your health. That includes with your marriage. That includes with your job. That includes with your family. You know. That includes with if you're linking up with other like-minded Israelites. You know, whatever the case may be. It says in all thy ways. Proverbs 3 and 6. In all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. You see that? Now let me get this in Psalms 37. This is Psalms chapter 37, and I'm gonna start at verse 23, and it reads, Psalms 37 and 23, and it reads, the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighted in his way. So that it says the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delighted in his way. So the Lord is going to direct you, which he is our shepherd. That's what we read in Psalm 23. The Lord is our shepherd. You know, we not going to thirst. You know, we not going to go astray from the Lord giving us everything we need. You know, we trusting in the Lord. So the Lord said also in Proverbs 3 and 7, be not wise in thy own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. So a lot of times we may be wise and thinking that we know the best way to go. And if you're not following after the Lord's instructions, you don't know the best way to go. Because you may have been deceived in thinking some other way is the best way to go. You know, you may think the way of Kemet is the best way to go, or the way of the religion of Islam, or the religion of Christianity is the best way to go. You may think that, you know, believing in a higher power, that's just what you're gonna call it, a higher power. You may think that's the best way to go, all because you still have that old man or that old woman attached to everything it is that's in your life, you know. Or you may have started on the right path and then put somebody else around you, and they may have told you, well, you know, you need to get this money. This is one thing that you're not doing. That Bible stuff that you're doing, okay, you know, you can do that, but you need to do this. You need to try this. And now you was starting on the right path, but you had somebody else tell you that you need to put your trust in the money, and now you're starting to wither off on the path that the Lord showed you. Just like Judas Iscariot, he withered off the path that the Lord has showed him because he wanted more money. You know, he got tired of living with crumbs. He got tired of just only seeing miracles. Oh, this man can do miracles. If he can do miracles, why we don't have more? You know, why we eating scraps? You know, they ain't no telling what Judas probably was saying. Hey, if ain't no telling what Judas probably was thinking. You know, if he can make a man walk again, why we can't have more fruit and vegetables? You know, why all of us got to get a little bit of each man? You know, there's 12 of us. You know, why I'm only eating a little bit and they only eating a little bit? Ain't no telling. That's why we got to trust in the Lord with our mind and our spirit and not lean on our own understanding. Now, I want to get this real quick in 1 Samuel, because a lot of people may have questions and may have different understandings or thoughts on certain things. Now, this is 1 Samuel chapter 15, and I'm gonna start at verse 22, and it reads, 1 Samuel 15 to 22, and it reads, and Samuel said, 1 Samuel 15 to 22, because if you put your trust in something other than the Most High, you know, and if you put your hope in something outside of the Most High, then that's rebellion, you know, and that's identical to witchcraft and idolatry. So this is the reason why we're reading this, because a lot of people, they put their trust in it elsewhere and find themselves, you know, not understanding and saying, nah, this is not evil, this is not a sin, this is not wrong, but they don't understand the foundation of rebellion as well as idolatry. 1 Samuel 15 and 22, and it reads, and Samuel said, had the Lord as great delight in burnt offerings and sacrifices as in obeying the voice of the Lord. So you got to obey the voice of the Lord. You got to obey the Lord's word. You know, you got to obey the Lord's prophets. You know, you got to obey the Lord's priests. You know, you got to obey the Most High himself. Obeying the voice of the Lord, behold, to obey is better than sacrifice, and to hearken than the fat of rams. So now the Israelites are sacrificing because we didn't want to obey the Lord. We didn't want to obey his law, statutes, and commandments. You know, verse 23, 1 Samuel 15 and 23, for rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity and idolatry. Because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he had also rejected thee from being king. See that? So the Lord can reject you because you wanted to be idolater. You wanted to be an idolater, and you wanted to give in to all these other things that has no power. Now this is I want to get this also. This is Sirach 31. This is Sirach chapter 31. Sirach chapter 31. And I'm going to start at verse 1, and it reads, Sirach 31 and verse 1 in the Apocrypha. It says, watching for riches consumeth the flesh, and the care thereof driveth away sleep. So you got some people, man, they watching for riches, you know. They not even watching for the Lord anymore. You know, they watching for riches. They watching the stocks. They watching, you know, all of their investments, you know, properties, and they're not even watching for the Lord anymore. They not even doing things that's going to help benefit them on getting salvation. but they want to save themselves by becoming rich. You know, whether that be watching the Powerball, watching those numbers drop, going to the gas station or going to the grocery store to get them numbers played. You know, you got people that put more hope and more labor into playing numbers than they actually do building their households up. You know, they put so much effort into their parlay, they don't even put effort into the spiritual things anymore. You know, so I want to get 1 Corinthians 7 real quick. 1 Corinthians 7 and 31. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 31, and it reads. 1 Corinthians chapter 7 and verse 31. It says, and they that use this world as not abusing it, for the fashion of this world passeth away. So you gotta use this world. You know, you gotta work and do things like that. You know, you gotta provide for your household, but you can't abuse it by putting your hope into it. You know, now your hope is into your job. Now your hope is into trying to get rich. That's not profitable. You know, like Paul said, you know, you can use the world and the plantation to be able to provide and pay the light bill and put food on the table and keep the lights on and things like that. But having your hope wrapped up into such things, that's not profitable. That's not going to get us to the kingdom of heaven. So I want to get this in Proverbs 13 real quick. Proverbs chapter 13. This is Proverbs chapter 13. And I'm going to start at verse 11, and it reads. Proverbs 13 and 11. It says, wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. So you won $50 million, you know, just by playing the lottery, you know, but you don't believe in the Lord, you know, because if you believe in the Lord, you wouldn't give all your hope into that. But a lot of people, they don't look at it on the same lines. They may be over righteous. They may say, well, I didn't break any laws, you know. They may say, well, I didn't break any laws, you know. I didn't go against the words of Moses. And that's what people began to be simple, you know. Let me get this in Exodus real quick. The law. This is Exodus chapter 20. Exodus chapter 20 and verse 17, and it reads, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is thy neighbor's. So coveting is wanting something that somebody else may have. As well as, if you ain't got it and you see it, you say, well, I want that. I'm gonna get that. I gotta try to get that. And then that's where coveting comes in at, you know. That's where coveting comes in at. And that surely is a sin. Now I want to go back to Proverbs real quick. This is Proverbs chapter 11. I'm going to go back to Proverbs chapter 11. Proverbs chapter 11, and I'm going to start at verse 4. Proverbs chapter 11 and verse 4, and it reads, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death. So, hey, playing your numbers and getting your picks right for the big game, trying to figure out if you can, I forgot what they call it, but the parlays and all of that, you know, the DraftKings and the FanDuels and all of this stuff, you know, the Lord has a record and a receipt on who's giving their trust and hope and faith into this world, and who's really giving their faith and trust into the Lord. You know, because if somebody handed you $1 million and you didn't have to work for it, you know, you can say, well, I put my own money into it, you know, but you're taking risk, you know, and a lot of people, when they lose something, they start sweating, and their mind isn't in the place where the Lord wants it at, you know. And Abraham, he didn't take any gifts, you know. Now, like we just read, Proverbs 11 and 4, riches profit not in the day of wrath, but righteousness delivered from death. So in the day of wrath, money isn't going to be the saving mechanism. You know, it's going to be according to your faith and your works. As you know, And also, Abraham, he didn't take any gifts. Now, let me read this in Genesis chapter 14. Abraham didn't take any gifts, you know. And you're going to find out why he didn't take any gifts. Because, hey, Abraham said, you know, he don't want another man saying, I made you rich. You know, in America, they might say that. You know, didn't you win the Powerball? We made you rich. You know. So this is Genesis chapter 14 and verse 20. I'm going to start at verse 21, and it reads, And the king of Sodom said unto Abram, Give me the persons, and take the goods to thyself. And Abram said to the king of Sodom, I have lifted up my hand unto the Lord, the Most High God, the possessor of the heaven and earth, that I will not take away from a thread even to a shoe latchet, and that I will not take away anything that is thine, lest thou shouldest say, I have made Abram rich. See that? So you don't know what that's gonna come with. You don't know what the cost is that you will have to pay for America making you rich, you know. So hey, it's better to just, you know, keep your mind on the Lord and focus after what the Lord has for you. So I'm gonna get this in 1 Samuel about casting lots. This is 1 Samuel chapter 14. 1 Samuel chapter 14 and verse 40. Because casting lots is not the same thing as throwing the dice, playing crabs, or going to the casinos and things like that. So this is 1 Samuel chapter 14 and verse 38. And it reads, and I'm going to start at 38. 1 Samuel 14 and 38. And Saul said, Draw ye near hither, all the chief of the people, and know and see wherein this sin hath been this day. For as the Lord liveth, which saveth Israel, though it be in Jonathan my son, he shall surely die. But there was not a man among all the people that answered him. Then said he unto all Israel, Be ye on one side, and I and Jonathan my son would be on the other side. And the people said unto Saul, Do what seemeth good unto thee. Therefore Saul said unto the Lord Most High God of Israel, Give a perfect lot. And Saul and Jonathan were taken, but the people escaped. And Saul said, Cast lots between me and Jonathan my son. And Jonathan was taken. So they casted a lot, you know. And it's two ways that things like that can go when you cast a lot. It can go into the favor or to the aspect of a man or a woman, or it can go into the aspect of the Most High God. So when you read, like, for instance, let me get this in Esther. Just like this is why we have a holy day called Purim. You know, because you had the heathen try to cast a lot against Israel. You know, and the Most High turned it out for our good. Now this is Esther chapter 9 and verse 24. So this isn't the same as this isn't the same as far as gambling. This is on the aspect according to the Most High giving the judgment, and the Most High calling the shots. Now this is Esther chapter 9 and verse 24, and it reads, Because Haman, the son of Hamatha the Agagite, the enemy of all the Jews, had devised against the Jews to destroy them, and had cast pur, that is the lot, to consume them and to destroy them. But when Esther came before the king, he commanded by letters that his wicked device, which he devised against the Jews, should return upon his own head, and that he and his son should be hanged on the gallows. Wherefore they called these days Purim, after the name of Pur. Therefore all the words of this letter and of that which they had seen concerning this matter, and which had come unto them, the Jews ordained and took upon them, and upon their seed, and upon all such as joined themselves unto them, so as it should not fail, that they would keep these 2 days according to the writing and according to the appointed time every year. So Lord willing, we'll be able to see that day to come in the months to come. But just for the edifying of this purpose, our forefathers and foremothers, they did cast lots, and the Most High had looked upon it, and he made his judgment concerning the matter. Now I want to get this in Deuteronomy 33 and 8. Deuteronomy chapter 33 and 8 before we wind down. Deuteronomy chapter 33 and verse 8, and it reads. I'm going to start at verse 7. And this is the blessing of Judah. And he said, hear the Lord. Hear, Lord, the voice of Judah, and bring him unto his people. Let his hands be sufficient for him, and be thy and help to him from his enemies. And of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One. Meaning the Lord has likened our priests, the Levites, the Levitical priesthood in the days of old, to make a decision on matters that may be too hard for us to make. So we would cast a lot, and the Lord, whatever, even if he wanted to answer, because according to 1 Samuel 28, the Lord didn't answer Saul according to Urim and Thummim, you know. So the Lord used to answer our forefathers according to when they had to cast a lot, if a decision was being too hard to be made. So that's where casting lots would come in at. So Deuteronomy 33 and 8, and of Levi he said, let thy Thummim and thy Urim be with thy Holy One, whom thou didst prove at Massa, and with whom thou didst strive at the waters of Meribah. So through the Spirit, our forefathers did cast lots, but it was only according to the Most High making a decision. So like we just brought up, 1 Samuel 28. We get this in 1 Samuel chapter 28. 1 Samuel 28, and I'm going to start at verse 6, and it reads, and when Saul inquired of the Lord answered him not, neither by dreams, nor by Urim, nor by prophets. So our forefathers, when the decision was hard to be made, they used to go to the Most High to make the decision on things that need to be done. And so that's how our forefathers used to cast lots. So through the Spirit of power, hey, repent. And if you have been in an acquaintance with giving your hope and your faith into money or trying to win something, you got to understand that you're going before the Most High with idolatry, as well as not having your trust and your faith in the Lord. Because the Lord said, let me get this real quick. Let me get this last precept. Because the Lord said, when he comes back on the earth, you know, shall he find faith, you know. And a lot of people, they're not gonna have faith, you know. They're gonna be caught up in doing things that's gonna get them jammed up, you know. They're gonna do things that's not gonna profit them. And that's not where we want to stand at. That's a judgment that the Lord is likening, you know, to destruction. So the Lord said, when he comes back, shall he find faith? Now, Lord willing, this video is edifying to you. Let me get this last precept real quick. This is Luke. Let me get this real quick. This is Luke. It's the book of Luke. Let me see where I want to start at. This is Luke chapter 18, and I'm going to start at verse 7. Luke chapter 18 and verse 7, and it reads, and shall not Most High God avenge his own elect, which cry day and night unto him, though he bear long with them? I tell you that he will avenge them speedily. Nevertheless, when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? So when the Lord comes back, will he find faith on the earth? Or will your faith be in this world or this society and their currency or their new world order tactics that they want to come with? Peace and blessings to you, fishermen of Zion. Lord willing, this was edifying to you. About to do another video shortly. So Lord willing, you tune in through the Spirit of power. Shabbat Shalom. Kom Yashabala.